We've come to the 3D era, and this time it's all about Ocarina of Time. This beautiful, memorable game that probably everyone has either played or at least heard of. In the Adventure of Link and A Link to the Past, we took a look at the 5 weirdest characters. We'll be doing the same here, but also take a look at the 5 we think are the coolest. We're the Owners of Triforce, let's see what we have. Princess Ruto. You find her inside Lord Jabba Jabba's belly, saying that she doesn't care about her father being worried about her. Then she runs straight into a sinking hole or whatever. Smart girl. And since you're so worried about her too, she lets you carry her around inside this dungeon. But we will talk more about how annoying she was on the dungeon ranking. Anyway, she gets lost and you have to save her by defeating the boss. When you meet her again, she's all pissed at you, or at least pretending to be while she's blushing. And when you're outside, she's all over Link. She even gives you the Sword Sapphire as an engagement ring. 7 years later, and she's still obsessed about it. A Zora and a Hylian? Really? The great fairies have looked like, fairies in the past games. But they took a pretty freaky form in Ocarina of Time. They're all full of kindness, but they don't really look good. And that scary laugh doesn't exactly help either. The makeup, the clothes they're wearing, the hair color, they're not the best looking fairies in the series. In the house by Lake Hylia, you'll find a strange looking man. This lake scientist doesn't do much, but you'll pay him a visit if you're doing the trading sequence. You're about to give him an eyeball frog to make some eye drops, but apparently he finds an eyeball frog delicious and wants to eat it. But still, he makes the eye drop, and that's about all he does in the game. Except having what at first seemed like alien experiments, but it just turned out that they were actually just octopi or something. Anyway, the weirdest thing about him is just the way it looks. It doesn't look too smart. And is this shark even alive? Sorry. There's not too much about this guy either, but at least he gives you a bottle for collecting Poes. The first weird thing you'll notice about him is his face. Or the red light that's there instead of his face. Whoa. What has he been drinking? There's a picture of the Triforce symbol, and he keeps the Poes in cages that apparently can go through the bars. He can read your mind too. Well, the dark times caused by Ganondorf is apparently good times for Poe business. But we don't get it. He buys your Poes, but what does he do with them? Will he even sell them again, or just keep them? I mean, he runs a ghost shop. My guess would be that he sells Poes, but he's the one buying them. Oh well. It kinda surprises us that we've never heard anyone talk about how weird Gravekeeper Darpé is. Yes, his face looks weird, but he's already pointed that out. When you're an adult, you have to visit his grave and he'll challenge you to a race against him. If you reach the finish before the time runs out, he'll give you the hookshot. This is pretty weird, but there's another thing he does. When you're young and Darpé was still alive, he resided by the graveyard. Because he was the gravekeeper. What he mostly did was to sleep like 12 hours a day, but between 6 and 9 PM, he does what he calls the heart-pounding grave digging tour. He'll walk around the graveyard and you can walk up to him and pay him 10 rupees to dig right where you stand, and see if you find something exciting. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the gravekeeper supposed to watch over the graves, making all dead people rest in peace where they lay? In this game, he's more like a grave robber. He takes money from others to help them steal from the graves. And that's just wrong. Talon may be a bit annoying as he sleeps in the way for you to enter the Hyrule Castle courtyard. We don't necessarily like that he's in the way, but it's the other thing that he does. Sleeping. Most of the times you meet this guy, he's sleeping. We just find him funny because he's so lazy all the time. He reminds us a bit about ourselves. In the Lost Woods, there's a mysterious little guy that likes to play the flute. There's just one place where he stands on top of a tree stump and he'll play with you if you stand on the other stump. He'll also buy the skull mask, which makes him look a bit scarier. But it gets more mysterious. There's another stump somewhere else in the Lost Woods that you can stand on, and 2 skull kids will appear. We always used to think that there were more of them, but you gave that last skull kid just 1 skull mask. Now all of them are wearing one, so apparently there's just 1 skull kid. We don't get to know him that well, but we like how he's just in the woods, playing the flute and dancing around. This will change in the next game though. At the top of Death Mountain you'll see something huge, but not until you come close to it and you hear that familiar voice. What you see getting up is the Biggoron. The reason why we like this guy is because how incredibly nice he is, and how nice he looks. Just look at him! He is so happy after getting the eye drops. So happy that he makes it a Biggoron sword, one of the most powerful swords in the series. He's a funny, nice and helpful character. Moving from a Goron to another one. Darunia is the boss of the Goron tribe. When you first meet him, he's all pissed off because of the things that have happened inside the Dogma's cavern, and he's not that friendly to you. And that's when you have to lift up his spirit, by playing Saria's song, and you'll witness one of the funniest moments in Zelda history. Man, has he got some sweet dance moves too. He is happier after this and lets you help the Gorons out with the troubles inside the Dogma's cavern, and gives you the Goron's ruby in return. When you succeed, you're a brother of the Goron tribe, and he puts his trust in you. Darunia is a great Goron and a great character. We have a soft spot for mysterious characters. And who's more mysterious in this game than Sheik? We know Sheik is just Zelda's disguise, but it's another character nonetheless. No one had any idea of Sheik being Zelda because they are so different. Sheik is a character that appears every time you're about to enter one of the 5 temples when you're an adult, in addition to some encounters inside the Temple of Time, and maybe some other times too. Anyway, Sheik teaches you the songs that will warp you to these temples. Sheik always leaves afterwards without any more info to give about himself. I say himself because I believe it's supposed to look like a guy. See, even Ruto says so. Anyway, Link usually moves closer, trying to figure out what the deal with Sheik is, but Sheik will just use fire to separate them, throw a Decanut, or just jump away, leaving so many questions behind. The fact that he's from the Sheikah tribe doesn't exactly help either, because we know so little about them. With a mysterious look and all the questions left behind, Sheik is easily our number 1 coolest character.
Hey!